Okay guys, let's do another video on rational equations. Hopefully no interruptions this time. Here we go. Sorry if it's a little blurry, but guys, first thing we do is we look at our denominators, right? Our goal is to make sure they're factored so we can piece together a common denominator. Now in this case, there's nothing to factor. Does everyone agree that I need a 2 because both of these had a 2? I need an m squared because both of those have an m squared. I'm talking about our common denominator. And this one has only an m, but m divides an m squared. So my common denominator is going to be 2m squared. Now, let's see how the math works out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. M squared divided by m squared is 1. That means all I'm left with is 1. Plus, watch your signs. Now the middle term, the 2, all it has is, you could say a 1 down there, but 2 divided by 1 is 2. The m squared divided by m is going to be just simply 1m, times 1, of course, is still m, equals, sorry if it's a little blurry, on the right side, notice the 2 and the m squareds cancel out. So all I'm left with is m plus 6. Now all we have to do is solve it. I'm going to minus m both sides. 1 plus m equals 6. And then I'm going to minus 1 both sides. So m is 5. Now, to save a little time, guys, I'm going to show my calculator work. And I'm going to ask you to pause it there. And I'm not going to spend time explaining the calculator work. I will just say this. Our solution was m equals 5. I'm going to plug it in to make sure it works and it's not extraneous. So, I plugged in the 5 right there, right there, right there. This is based upon this equation right here, right? And as you can see, in the end, both of them gave me the same answer. Both the left, right, and right sides of the equation. So pause it here if you need to. Pause it there if you need to. All right, let's do another one. On this one, guys, notice this one and this one have a 2 and an x in them. This one has an x in it. Well, x is part of 2x, right? So my common denominator is going to be 2x. So let's see what happens here. In this first expression, the x's cancel out, and I have 2 that's going to times this. Now, if it's okay, I'm going to distribute that 2. 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times 16 is 32. Okay, that's a minus there, a little blurry, sorry about that. Remember, we have to be careful, we may have to distribute that minus, which we are actually. Now look at the middle term right here, guys, I just circled. 2x divides by 2x, and I'm left with x plus 3, but I got to distribute this minus, so that becomes a minus 3. Of course, the x becomes a minus x. Now that right there is the equals. Over here, the 2x's cancel each other out. All I'm left with is x minus 1. All right, let's just do some algebra. 8x minus x is 7x. 32 minus 3 is 29, equal to x minus 1. Let's go ahead and minus x both sides. 6x plus 29 equals negative 1. Let's minus 29 both sides. 6x will equal negative 30. Divide both sides by 6. X is negative 5. X is negative 5. Rewind or pause the video if you want to see all that work I just erased. I just want you to see the equation, because I'm going to talk about it right now. So, again, guys, you're doing this online, so you really could get away without checking them all the time. But I recommend you practice it a little bit to get proficient at it. As you can see, I went ahead and did it on my calculator. I did my negative 5 there. Notice at the end, both the left and right sides of my equation end up being 0.6. Again, guys, pause it here if you need to. Pause it here if you need to. Basically, I did all of this in my calculator, and then I did that in my calculator. They equaled each other. Okay? Let's do another one. So, guys, on this one I have to factor, right? I'm going to factor out an x. So that's really xx minus 3. Now, does everyone agree all of them have a common factor of x? And this one has an x minus 3 as a factor. So my common denominator is going to be x times x minus 3. All right, let's see what happens. In the first expression, the x's cancel out, and I have x minus 3, right, times with x plus 4. And yes, guys, you're going to do the box method on that one most likely. Now let's look at our middle term or second term here. There's an equals. Let's not forget that. But the x's cancel out. So this time I'm left with x minus 3 times 1, which of course is x minus 3. Now here's the cool part. The last expression, there's a plus. Let's keep that there. Boom. Don't forget that's a plus. But the x's and the x minus 3's cancel out. So I'm just simply left with that numerator. X squared plus 6x plus 5. So guys, all I need to do now is do some algebra, right? Over here, guys, I'm going to do it in my head if it's okay, but do the x method. You're going to get x squared plus x minus 12 if you do that correctly, equal, here I have x squared, 6 and 1 is 7x, and 5 minus 3 is a 2. All right, now what's cool is, guys, notice when I minus x squared both sides, there's no more x squared to solve for. And I'm just going to go ahead and minus 7x both sides. I'm going to get negative 6x minus 12 equal to 2. And now I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So negative 6x is going to equal 14, right? Okay. So dividing by negative 6, x must be negative, I'm going to go ahead and divide by 2, 7/3. Now again, guys, to save a little time, pause the video if you need to see any of this work. Please pause it now. While I'm talking to you, as you can see, I'm going to erase this so you can see the original equation again better. What I'm going to do with my calculator again is I'm going to take my answer, negative 7/3, that's a negative there, right? And plug it in there and there and see what that comes out to be. Then I'm going to plug it in there, there, and there, and see what the right side comes out to be. Let's see what happens. So as you can see, this is the left side. I plugged in my negative 7/3. I got negative 0.714 and so on. This right here is the right side where I plugged in my negative 7/3, as you can see. And I got exactly the same answer, didn't I? It works. It's not extraneous. Okay, let's do one more. So guys, what are we going to do first? We're going to factor all the denominators if we need to. This needs to be factored. I'm going to do an m. Done. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is figure out my common denominator and times everything by my common denominator, right? Well, these two have an m in them, so that's definitely part of my common denominator, correct? This one has an m minus 2 in it, so that also has to be part of my common denominator. And we've covered everything. The 1, of course, right here only has a denominator of 1, right? So Our common denominator is m times m minus 2. All right, let's see what the math says. M over m is 1. M minus 2 over m minus 2 is 1. The only thing left is 1. I have a plus. Now, right here, guys, since nothing cancels out, I have 1 times m minus 2, right? Equal, now on the right side, the m's at least cancel out. So notice I have a 4 times m minus 2. All right, let's do the algebra. 1 plus m squared minus 2m equals 4m minus 8. Let's go ahead and minus 4m both sides. And let's go ahead and add 8 to both sides. 2 steps in one, if that's okay. So notice what I get. I get m squared. 1 plus 8 is 9 at the end. Negative 2m and negative 4m is negative 6m in the middle. And it's equal to 0. So guys, let's factor this. Let's factor it. Let me give my more space here. So I need a 9 with a negative 6 in the middle, sorry. That would be negative 3 times negative 3. So I have m minus 3 times m minus 3 equal to 0. Both of them are the same answer, 3. And to save a little time, guys, again, pause the video here if you need to. All right, I warned you. Now I'm erasing while I'm talking to you so I can more accurately talk to you about this. So, of course, once again, one last time, I took my answer 3, I plugged it in there and there, figured out what that is, and I added 1 to figure out what the left side of my equation said, right? Then in my calculator, of course, I plugged the 3 in there to figure out what that is. So here's my calculator work. I plugged in the 3, I added the 1, 1.333. I plugged in the 3, 4 divided by 3, 1.333. So without a doubt, guys, 3 is the correct answer. And I'm hoping this video obviously helps you out, guys. This is not easy, but you got to work hard. Keep the faith, guys. It potentially may be the hardest thing you have to learn this summer, okay? So stick to it, man. Don't give up. I'll see you around.